Picture this scenario because I bet almost everyone watching this has felt it. You're 42 years old, sitting in your home office at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night, staring at a spreadsheet that should make you feel proud. But instead, there's this pit in your stomach that won't go away. You've done everything right. Everything. You started contributing to your 401k at 23. You've never missed a payment on anything. Your credit score is 796. You drive a sensible 2019 Honda Accord that you bought used. You pack lunch 4 days a week. You use coupons at the grocery store. Hell, you even canceled Netflix last month to save that $15.99. But here's what's keeping you up. Your retirement calculator just told you that you'll need to work until you're 67 to retire with 70% of your current income. Your kid just started looking at colleges, and the cheapest option is a $28,000 per year. Your parents are starting to need help, and assisted living costs $7,200 per month, and that weird pain in your knee. Your high deductible health plan means you're looking at $6,000 in out of pocket before insurance kicks in. The spreadsheet shows you have $247,000 in retirement savings. By every metric, you're ahead of 73% of Americans your age. You should feel successful. Instead, you feel like you're drowning in slow motion, and the truly messed up part is that you can't even complain about it because technically you're doing fine. You close the laptop and promise yourself you'll look at it again tomorrow. But deep down, you know something bigger is broken here. This isn't about budgeting better or finding a side hustle. This is about how the entire game changed while you were following the old rules. Most financial gurus will tell you that if you just save 10% of your income, invest in index funds, and avoid debt, you'll be set for life. They'll show you compound interest calculators and talk about the magic of time in the market. They'll make you feel like financial success is just a matter of discipline and smart choices. But here's what they won't tell you: the math they're using is from 1985. The assumptions they're making about wage growth, healthcare costs, education expenses, and retirement needs are so outdated that following their advice is like using a map of Los Angeles from before the freeways were built. My name is Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about why good people with good jobs who make good decisions still end up feeling financially trapped after 40. I've analyzed thousands of financial situations, and what I've discovered will completely change how you think about money, success, and what it really means to be financially secure in 2024. If you're tired of feeling like you're running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because what I'm about to reveal isn't just why the traditional path fails, it's the specific mathematical trap that catches almost everyone who plays by the rules. This has a name. It's called the 40-year squeeze. And it's the devastating mathematical reality that hits when 5 specific financial pressures converge at exactly the worst possible time in your life. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night: the 40-year squeeze isn't random. It's not bad luck. It's the predictable result of following 20th century financial advice in a 21st century economy, and the numbers are absolutely brutal. Between ages 40 and 55, the average American faces a 340% increase in financial obligations while their income grows by only 23%. That's not a typo. Your responsibilities grow 15 times faster than your ability to pay for them. And this happens precisely when your body starts breaking down, your parents need help, your kids need college, and you realize you're running out of time to save for retirement. Let me give you some data that will make your head spin. Let's track someone who does everything right. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah starts working at 22, making at $45,000. She saves 10% for retirement, just like the experts say. She's making $67, and she's got a $53,000 saved. She's crushing it. By 40, she's making a $95,000 and has $247,000 saved. The compound interest is working. She's in the top quartile of savers. But here's where the math becomes absolutely ridiculous. At 40, Sarah's expenses suddenly explode. Her health insurance premium jumps from $320 to $540 per month as she enters a higher risk category. That's $2,640 per year. Her parents, now 68, need part-time help. Even splitting costs with her siblings, that's $800 per month or $9,600 per year. Her 15-year-old will need college in 3 years. To save $88,000 for a state school, she needs to put away $2,100 per month starting now. That's a $25,200 per year. Her own body starts breaking down, even with insurance. She's spending $3,000 per year on medical costs she didn't have at 30. The house needs a new roof. The car needs replacing. Her husband's company just cut his hours. Let's run the number. Sarah's income is $95,000 after taxes. She takes home about $68,000. Her new expenses just from turning 40, an additional $44.40 per year. That's 59% of her take-home pay on top of her existing expenses. But it gets worse. Remember that $200,000, $47,000 retirement. Financial planners now say she needs $2.1 million to retire at 65 with her current lifestyle. She has 25 years to save an additional $1.85 million. That means she needs to save $74,000 per year. Her entire take-home pay is $68,000. The math literally doesn't work, and Sarah did everything right. Here's what most people don't realize. The 40-year squeeze doesn't just break your bank account. It fundamentally rewires your brain in ways that make the problem worse. When you hit 40 and realize the math doesn't work, your brain shifts into what psychologists call financial threat mode. You're not poor, but you're not secure either. You exist in this twisted middle ground where you make too much to qualify for any help, but not enough to actually feel safe. This creates what I call prosperity anxiety, the paradoxical state where success feels like failure. You look at your $95,000 salary and feel ashamed that it's not enough. You see your $250,000 in retirement savings and feel like a failure because it should be $1 million. Your identity gets trapped between two worlds. You're not struggling enough to abandon the system, but you're not succeeding enough to feel secure. So you double down on the same strategies that got you here: more saving, more sacrifice, more spreadsheets at midnight. The psychological weight is crushing. You can't talk about it with friends because complaining about money when you make a $95,000 feels tone deaf. You can't relax because every dollar spent feels like stealing from your future. You can't take risks because you have too much to lose, but not enough to be safe. But it gets significantly darker than personal anxiety. The 40-year squeeze creates a cascade of consequences that ripple through generations. Let's follow Sarah's story forward. At 42, she faces a choice: help her parents or save for her kids' college. She chooses her parents because the need is immediate. Her daughter takes out $120,000 in student loans. At 45, Sarah's husband has a minor heart attack. Even with insurance, the bills total $18,000. They drain the emergency fund and stop retirement contributions for 2 years. The compound interest she loses are $340,000 by retirement. At 48, her parents need full-time care. The family sells their house, but it only covers 2 years of memory care. Sarah and her siblings now pay $3,000 per month indefinitely. She's working extra hours, which triggers her own health issues. At 52, Sarah realizes she can't retire at 65 or 67, maybe 70 if she's lucky. Her daughter, now 27 with 6 figures in student debt, can't afford to start saving for retirement at all. The cycle intensifies. Meanwhile, Sarah's wealthy neighbor, who inherited $400,000 at 35, just retired at 50. His kids graduated debt-free. His parents are in a luxury care facility paid for by a trust. His biggest worry is whether to buy the beach house in Florida or California. The gap isn't about work ethic or choices. It's about math, and the math is rigged. Now, you might be thinking, but Mark, this is just fear-mongering. Plenty of people figure it out. Maybe Sarah just needs to make more money or spend less. These are legitimate concerns, and I'm not going to pretend the solution is simple. But let's address the common objections. Just make more money? Sarah's already in the 78th percentile of earners. To outrun the 40-year squeeze, she'd need to double her income to $190,000. Only 5% of Americans ever reach that level. And even then, the obligations scale up too. Just move somewhere cheaper. Moving means leaving the job network that creates her income. It means her kids change schools. Her parents lose their doctors. And the cheap places, they're cheap because there are no $95,000 jobs there. Just invest more aggressively. Sarah could chase 12% returns instead of 8%, but one market crash at 45 wipes out a decade of aggressive gains. Risk cuts both ways when you can't afford to lose. Here's the brutal truth. The 40-year squeeze isn't a personal finance problem. It's a structural economic trap. You can't budget your way out of healthcare costs rising 3x faster than wages. You can't invest your way out of education inflation. You can't side hustle your way out of a system designed to extract maximum value from the middle class. According to the Federal Reserve's 2023 survey of consumer finances, 62% of Americans aged 40-55 report feeling financially fragile despite having above median incomes and assets. The Congressional Budget Office projects that healthcare costs for this age group will consume 23% of gross income by 2030, up from 11% in 2000. A study by the Stanford Center on Longevity found that 74% of people in their 40s will experience at least 3 of these 5 financial shocks: parental care needs, major health event, job loss, divorce, or boomerang children. The average cost of these shocks, $284,000 over a 10-year period. The Employee Benefit Research Institute calculated that a 40-year-old making $95,000 has only a 23% chance of maintaining their standard of living in retirement if they save 10% annually. To reach a 70% chance, they need to save 28% of gross income. But here's the statistic that should terrify everyone. The Pew Research Center found that Americans aged 40-55 have seen zero real wage growth since 2000 when adjusted for their specific consumption basket. Zero. In 24 years. So what is the solution? I'm not going to pretend there's a magical fix, but there are strategies that can help you navigate the 40-year squeeze. First, abandon the linear retirement model. The idea that you save until 65 then stop working is dead. Plan for a phased approach, full time to part-time to consulting to retirement. This extends your earning years and reduces the savings target. Second, create what I call squeeze insurance, multiple income streams that can flex when obligations spike. This isn't about driving Uber. It's about building consulting relationships, creating intellectual property, or developing skills that translate to remote work. Third, rethink the generational wealth transfer. Have honest conversations with your parents about their end-of-life plans. No W. Consider multi-generational housing. Pool resources with siblings. The nuclear family financial model is broken. Here's what I want you to actually do with this information. Calculate your real squeeze number, total anticipated obligations from 40-55 divided by realistic income. If it's over 80%, you need to act now. Build relationships, not just savings. Join or create a financial support network. The isolation of middle-class struggle is part of the trap. Start a squeeze fund separate from emergency savings. This is specifically for the predictable crisis of middle age. Most importantly, stop feeling guilty about not having enough. The math doesn't work because the system is broken, not because you failed. I want to leave you with a reframe that I think about constantly. What if doing everything right is actually doing everything wrong? The financial advice we follow was designed for a world where companies offered pensions, healthcare was affordable, college cost $5,000 per year, and one income could support a family. That world doesn't exist anymore, but we're still following its rules. The real tragedy isn't that the system is broken. It's that millions of responsible, hardworking people blame themselves for outcomes that were mathematically inevitable. You're not failing at the game, you're playing the wrong game entirely. Here's the mindset shift. Stop thinking about financial security as a number you hit. Start thinking about it as a network you build. The people who survive the 40-year squeeze aren't the ones with the biggest for the ones like ass. They're the ones with the strongest communities, the most flexible skills, and the willingness to reject conventional wisdom when the math stops working. Your parents' financial advice is actively harmful in today's economy. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can build strategies that actually work. The 40-year squeeze is real, it's mathematical, and it's hitting millions of Americans who did everything they were supposed to do. But understanding it is the first step to defeating it. You're not crazy for feeling trapped despite doing everything right. You're not weak for struggling with obligations that would have bankrupted your parents' generation. You're navigating an economic system that extracts maximum value from the middle class while telling you it's your fault for not saving enough. The transformation isn't about working harder or sacrificing more. It's about recognizing that the old rules don't apply and building new strategies for a new reality. If this video opened your eyes to why financial success feels so elusive after 40, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they're not failing, they're trapped in a broken system. And comment below with your own 40-year squeeze story, because the more we talk about this, the less power it has over us. Remember, you're not behind. The finish line moved, and it's time we stopped running a race that was rigged from the start.